To get more on this, we can speak to Sinan Ulgen, who's the chairman of EDAM, the Centre for Economics and Foreign Policy Studies, speaking to me now from Istanbul. Many thanks for joining us on TRT World, Sinan. If the Syrian regime wants to win the war, is an attack on Idlib inevitable?
It certainly looks like that. It's just that in order for the regime to be prevented from attacking Idlib, there needs to be an opportunity for a political settlement in Syria. That's really the only alternative if the international community, and primarily Turkey, wants to preempt an attack on Idlib. Because when we look at the developments on the ground, as you have also covered in your reporting, the fight in the south of the country is almost concluded. So now the regime will have the freedom to move its forces to the north of the country and plan for an attack of the ultimate piece of territory that currently falls outside of its control, and that is Idlib.
Indeed, and with the support of the Russians and the Iranians, there's really nothing stopping them. Let's talk about the potential of an offensive in Idlib and what that might look like. It is, of course, been a refuge for millions of displaced people, but it's also where we have many hardline jihadists and secular regime opponents. They are not going to give up easy. What would a war there look like? Are we going to see a repeat of what we saw in Ghouta, those barrel bombs, chemical weapons and so on?
Well, certainly an attack by the regime on Idlib would be the most undesired and unwanted scenario from many perspectives, and primarily from Turkey's perspective. So beyond the humanitarian disaster that this could trigger, we would also expect to see a new refugee flow towards Turkey that would very much be a challenging issue for Turkish policymakers, because, as you've pointed out, Idlib is now host not only to a large number of displaced people, but also among them are some of the hardliners that in the past had to flee from East Aleppo, for instance, and even lastly from East Ghouta. Some of these hardliners were shipped to Idlib. So in that sense, Turkey will face with a very difficult choice of whether to open its borders to save these people from this humanitarian tragedy. But at the same time, it will also have to be very careful not to allow many of those hardliners to easily cross into Turkish territory. One option could be whether these people can be channeled to the territory that now falls under Turkish temporary control in the territory of the Euphrates Shield, for instance. That's something that I would tend to think Turkish policymakers would focus on. But primarily, their position today, and we heard this from President Erdogan a couple of days ago, is to try to seek Russia's support in order to prevent a regime attack against Idlib. President Erdogan has stated that the Astana process could actually fail if Russia would support such an initiative by the regime.
I guess time will tell. Sinan Ulgen, chairman of EDAM, speaking to us there from Istanbul. Many thanks for joining us.